And we are live. Welcome back to Sophie's Positive Spin. I am back after having a lovely Easter break off. I got to, two people already listening. Wow. I got to meet up with some friends. I got to take a break from studying. I made my, if anybody was listening to my last episode, I made my cheesecakey in an Easter egg things. Unreal. Like, I don't know how you'd make them. What other things? Like, maybe you could make your own little mold for them. But amazing recipe. Oh, tasted gorgeous. We actually had to give away some to our neighbours because we actually had too many cheesecakes. And we had we had loads of desserts for Easter Sunday that we ended up just passing them out to the neighbours, and I got presents for giving them out to the neighbours, which I was very happy about. Trying to think what else I have to talk about. Oh yeah, it's the final stretch. We are back to college. Oh, I'm back to college. We're back to college this week, and it's the final stretch until the summer holidays. And I think just the nice weather and everything is kind of making it seem that bit closer to summer. I'm nearly finished my second year. That's crazy. And this time next year I'll have a month left of college. Bit surreal. I don't really know what I want to do. I know I want to do after college, but I think just with the pandemic and stuff, it's difficult to see kind of what's going to happen. If I want to take a gap year, or if I want to just go straight to a master's. If people don't know, I want to be a primary school teacher, so there is there's a lot of things I have to think about. Well, restrictions are getting eased, not as much as the UK, but we're still getting eased. We can now travel within our county or go 20 kilometers over the border. Now, I don't know if it's it means I literally live on the border. Well, not on the border. I live just beside the border of Wicklow. And can I go 20 kilometers over the border, but can I go 20 kilometers to Bray, you just say? I don't think Bray is 20 kilometers away from I don't know. Anyway, I'm just that's kind of feels it's not I want to go to Bray, but if I wanted to. But it's easing of restrictions, intercounty travel, amazing. The amount of times I've got stopped by guards and I've had to make up excuses. I think I got stopped by guards once, and I told them I was going to get petrol. And it's actually a funny story. I told them I was going to my my elderly grandmother to give her shopping, and I was shaking, my whole body. I was trying to put my foot back down the clutch to change gear to move off, and oh my god, I just couldn't. And I was going to the petrol station that was literally right beside it, and I actually bought these are my favourite ice cream ice pops. They're the little bag of little small ice pops. So I bought them in the garage as well when I was getting my petrol. And I had to sit in my lap. And then as I was going past the guards, I had to put my hand out to be oh, I'm not eating anything. I wasn't in the garage, I was actually with my grandmother. And then I was going up to visit some of my friends, and I was actually going cross county borders, and I had stories made up if I got stopped with the guards. Didn't get stopped with the guards at all. But sure, now we can go anywhere we want. Well, within our county in 20 kilometers. That was just a little tangent. Maynooth's fastest fundraiser. I've spoken about this before. It's for I'm going to say this wrong again. Multiple sclerosis. That's wrong. It's the charity of the year for Maynooth. And so far I think I've done about 107,000 steps. Right, a bit more. I just had a bit of an off weekend, so that kind of pushed me back a little bit. But I'm also like, my friends are the people commenting, and they're also in a competition with. We're also doing a competition, the group of us. Like we've had good days, we've had bad days. Like I got like 21,000 steps, and then friend Anna only got 7. So it was like funny to see the contrast in steps. Like I got 3 times as many steps as her, but also she's very much taller than me. She's a lot taller than me. So I was like, oh well, sure, look, I take 3 steps for every step you take. So we basically got the same amount of steps. What else has happened this week? The library's back open. Now, there's a lot of controversy with the library because they're only allowing us to have 2-hour slots, but not consecutively. So, like, I've kind of taken that to my advantage in the 2-hour break between the slots. I like tend to go for a walk along the Greenway in Maynooth, which like I spoke about before, and it's actually lovely. I usually get like a half an hour or like a 40-minute walk done walking along that. I actually packed up today, had my bag packed. I was like up and ready, about to walk out the door, and I was like, oh, I need to book my slot in the library. Went to book my slot. The library's closed on a Wednesday. I was like, that's great, but it's been good. I'm really enjoying it. I think I might only do 1 slot tomorrow, and I don't think I'm going to go on Friday just because I have a quiz and I have an assignment due. But yeah, so that's everything. I'll just get into some good news stories because you don't want to hear me rambling about my life. So first of all, great news story this week, I actually watched it happen, was Rachel Blackmore winning the Grand National on, I have it written down, Manila Times. Grand National? Yeah, it was Grand National. So my road did a sweepstakes for Cheltenham on Easter Monday, and then again on Saturday they were like, oh, we do another sweepstakes. So we all sat down to watch it, and she was the first woman to win the Grand National, which is amazing, which is a great achievement. It's like one of the only sports that women and men are competing on the same level. Like you see, like, yeah, like women and men play the same sports, but like there's no like mixed gender like football teams, or like it's always like, even in racing, it's always like female, male, and like I know it might be down to like sizing of people, and like I was thinking of swimming when I was thinking about this myself. Like if men and women were to compete in the same race, and even running as well. Like I feel like men have like longer arms and legs. Like I know there are women who are quite tall, but like I know if I was competing in a race against, and I was like an amazing swimmer, like I'm not the best swimmer, but, and then I was competing against like a man who was like 6'2", me being 5'3", like we wouldn't have the same, I feel like the same like reach in the race. But it's like, that's kind of gone on tangent, but like horse racing, I have to say, is great for the like mixed gender stuff. So I think I'd heard of her before, like I don't know, but my dad was like freaking out, like he want to see, like he didn't have the horse, but he was still like freaking out. But I didn't really know anything about it. And she, but like, sorry, I'm not going off on what I was saying. He actually thought she wasn't gonna win. He like mixed up who, like, what her colours were, and it was great just to see. I actually think my uncle won money on it, so that's great too. Yeah, so if anybody like me didn't know who she was before this, her name is Rachel Blackmore. She originally from Tipperary, and she is 31 years of age. She did Aquarian studies in UL, and she became a professional jockey in 2015. And I actually saw, so I love Darren Garrahy's podcast, Laughs of Your Life. Great podcast, love it. And I saw that she was back with like a new season of the episodes, and she was like interviewing Rachel Blackmore. I didn't know who she was. I was like, oh yeah, I'll listen to it. Like I kind of put on the back foot, like oh yeah, listen to it again. I tend to not really listen to podcasts if I don't really know, especially if it's an interview. If I don't really know the person, like I just find like it's very difficult to listen to. But anyway, I literally listened to it there just before I was recording. I was just like writing up notes, and she's actually very funny. So I would recommend listening to the Last Year Live podcast with Rachel Blackmore. It was actually really not insightful, but like it's quite funny. It's only short as well. I think it's only a half an hour long. So it's kind of just something if you were going out for a short walk, especially with the weather today. It's absolutely gorgeous. I've already been for a walk, and I can't wait to go out again. What's next? Oh, so yesterday my mom was watching, I think it might have been Lorraine. Anyway, so there was a boy found in 2000, August 2000. A couple were rushing to dinner, and they found, well, I think one of them, Danny Stewart, found a child on the subway platform. He said he thought it looked like a doll, and then he realised it was a baby boy, a newborn, and it still had the remnants of his umbilical cord still attached. So he rang. It was like back in 2000, so many people did not have like phones, and so I'm just literally reading this off an article. It's so bad. So anyway, then he rang the police, and so long story short, they ended up adopting him. And like my mom called it like the real life The Blind Side. If anybody's seen The Blind Side, great film. About a African American boy being adopted by Sandra Bullock. Great film, I have to say. I've only seen it maybe once or twice, but it's one of those films that kind of like sticks with you. And so now he's like in his 20s. He is I think he's studying medicine in college, or he's studying something really, really like advanced in college. And like he's come from being like he could have like died on the platform, but now he is doing great stuff, and he's also allowed like this like gay couple to have a child. And I was going to recommend this as my like kind of film recommendation, but I watched Instant Family at the weekend. Like I wasn't in the best headspace for it because I cried the whole way through the film, and like my mom kept looking at me being like, "This is not a sad film," but like I think it's just like it's a little bit sad, and it just shows like I feel like that sort of like adoption and fostering and stuff in Ireland isn't really like a massive thing, compared to America and stuff. And like I remember I saw TikTok, and it's a thing called Safe Haven. I first saw it on Grey's Anatomy, and basically children are left in fire stations, and then I think they have like 3 days then to come back if they do want a child again. And now they actually have these little built-in like doors in the fire station wall. So basically open up the door, they put their child in, and there's a bag that they take out, and that basically has like all the details of like where the fire station is, who like any phone numbers, anything that if they did need to get in contact with the fire station. And then I think it also has like helplines and stuff for them as well, because they have also just given up their child. It's just crazy. Like it's not something that's really seen here as much, and it's massive. Yeah, the TikTok, I showed my sister and she couldn't believe it, like, because I don't think she'd ever heard of it. Like I had heard of it from Grey's Anatomy, but yeah, it was quite weird, and it was very like relaxed the way they were talking about it. There was a lot of like kind of like comments like made in there was a lot of like jokey comments made about it in the comments, but so crazy. But anyway, yeah, just thought it was a really nice story that like this boy had like first this boy has like been left in like a subway and now is like living his best life. Like I'm trying to think what else. Yeah, I think he's like he's trained to be like a doctor, or he's trained to be something like really prestigious. Yeah, so on the same note of adoptions, so you might have seen that over the weekend they recorded a reunion of, I was going to say Desperate Housewives, that's all that's on my mind at the moment, of Friends. And now I don't know when it's going to be released, I kind of didn't really look into that sort of thing, but Jennifer Aniston has actually, I think she either announced or like hinted at it, that she's adopting a Mexican child. Mexican? I think, I'm going to say Mexican because I think that's what I read. But I don't think she has any children, so it's a really like kind of just ties up with that story, like another adoption story coming out. Also on the same note of children, London Tipton and Kevin McAllister, yeah, had a child at the weekend. What? Now that's Brenda Song and Kevin Macaulay Culkin. Yeah. Like I was shocked. Like I was just scrolling through my Instagram being like, oh, look at this, and then bam. What? Like imagine if you like, mind blown, like actually could not believe it. Yes. That is the right reaction. Shocked emoji face. Like I don't know what it is. Like in the last like couple of weeks we've had Ashley Tisdale had a baby. I was gonna say Liz McGuire, that's not her actual name. It's Hilary Duff had a child. She did Homebirth. And then like I was a big fan of like R5, like Ross Lynch's band, like back in the day. And his sister is also having a child as we speak. I'd say the baby's been born now, but they were like posting about her being like in labour and stuff on Monday. So hopefully she's not in like 72 hours worth of labour. Like hopefully she's had the child by now. But like loads, like there's such a baby boom, like such a baby boom. Oh my god, this just shows how much research I put into this podcast. I just said Kevin Macaulay Culkin instead of just Macaulay Culkin. Yeah. Can you tell? Can you tell that we're nearly finished college and that like we're on the final stretch? And I've got 4 assignments. No, I've got 2 assignments due this week and 2 quizzes. I've done 2 of them, but anyway. Kevin Macaulay Culkin. Yeah, I knew when I said it. I was like, he doesn't have a German parallel name. So I don't know what I'm talking about. This is something I'm going to try after this podcast. So it's a TikTok trend, okay? So what people are doing is they're making Toasties Kinder chocolate. Now I have Kinder chocolate bars, like the small little ones that you can break into pieces. Yeah. So you need white bread and Kinder chocolate, okay? And then you just put it on the toast maker. Okay, so to make these toasties, simply place 4 squares of Kinder chocolate on 2 slices of white bread. Grab your wine glass and press the rim and use the room to press into the bread. She'll be left with a little circular pocket of joy. Finally, pop your teeny sandwich into a toaster for 2 minutes. Oh, into a toaster. And then when it's done, chop it in half and you'll enjoy the carby goodness. Yes, I think I need to try that out. I have a lot of Kinder Bars and yes, it does sound good. That sounds unreal. Like, I am buzzing to have this. Like, I'll be finished up the podcast in a couple of minutes and I will be down to my kitchen to make myself one of those. I might make it for, I have a tutorial at 1 and it's quite difficult to listen to. So I might make it for that. Oh, also, just finish up. If anybody was like me and they watched a lot of RTE, I think it was RTE 1 or RTE 2. Anyway, they watched a lot of The Den as a child. And then, like, later, like Cartoon Network, they would have been obsessed with the Powerpuff Girls. I loved the Powerpuff Girls. I loved, what's the character? It's like Man or something, the man or the boy or something, which is like the big red yolk. Loved him. Actually, one of my favorite like bloggers, I don't know, her name is Fanula Jones, Fanula J on Instagram. She dressed up as him for Halloween last year, I think. Halloween 2019. And she dressed up as Cynthia, actually, from the Rugrats as well for this Halloween. Like, she's incredible. But anyway, she had, let me see if I can find it, July, so we're gone past it. She dressed up, like, I just loved, like, I remember seeing it and being like, this is the best thing that I've ever seen. Still, like, I don't know how I can find on her Instagram, because there we go, him, I knew it was something to do with a man, him, and, like, it was incredible. She made it all, like, out of sustainable products, like, she made it all herself, so it was sustainable, but it was incredible. So Dove Cameron actually is going to be in it. I love Dove Cameron, big time fan of her. So that's something I'd say when it comes out. Hopefully it does it justice to the original Powerpuff Girls, but I'm looking forward to that. And finally, I'm just going to leave you with some recommendations if you're kind of feeling down and you want something funny to listen to or watch. Would highly recommend the episode of Friends entitled The One Rachel's Other Sister. I think it's season 9. I watched it the other night because we were watching something else and Christina Applegate was in it. And I was like, oh, she looks familiar. Can't remember what she was in. And my mum was like, oh, she was in Friends. She was Rachel's sister. So I watched the episode and it's all about, she's never met Rachel, or she's never met Emma, who is Rachel and Ross's daughter. And it's all about her meeting her and like who's going to have custody of Emma if anything happens to Ross and Rachel. I'm not really going to give, like, I say people have watched it. I haven't watched that episode in a long time. But honest to God, I could not stop laughing. So if you're looking for like a quick fix of laughter, watch that episode. Also, people mightn't be interested in this, but like as a GAA fan myself, Martin Morrissey's episode on Last Year Life, the Dear and Gary Who podcast that I've already spoken about, is iconic. Is iconic. Like, I laughed, I cried, he talked about, like, because there's like questions about like getting the last laugh, and there was a question being like at the start of the episode, she talked to him about a woman or like a girl the first time I felt laughed at, and he was like at a disco and the girl wouldn't kiss him even though all his friends said she would, and then it's like when he got last laugh and he was like, yeah, so I was out and I didn't, she was like flirting with me or something, and I said no, and it was just really funny the way he was talking about it, like, and then she played like clips of him talking about, he was commentating the All Ireland hurling final in 2018, I think it might have been. And literally it got to me. Because like I know we had an All Ireland final this year, but like just like the sense of like Croke Park and like, oh, there's nothing beats being in Croke Park and an All Ireland Sunday. I've done it once and I can't wait to go back. Like it's been over a year since I've been in Croke Park and it's just killing me. It's really killing me. So yeah, if you want a lot, that's actually, it's quite funny, even though like I got a bit emotional because of the GAA, but would highly recommend that podcast to the episode. So it's the Marty Morrissey episode of Last Year Life. Thank you all for listening and interacting with the podcast or the episode throughout. I will love you and leave you, and I will see you next week. Bye bye.